Damn it, is nowhere safe! Red-robed lunatics at sea, those void-woken seedlings in the swamp. It all points to the great acorn. It's coming, Quercus! What if it's too late, What if the Knights of Dre are too far ahead in their plans? How dare it, Quercus! They are nothing like me. It knows nothing about me. It... Oh, hush! No one needs an explanation.
You know their order, my friend. Mystic Squirrel Knights, sworn to the great acorn, trying to bring about its return.
The squirrel absent-mindedly runs a paw over Quercus's spine. The air fills with the sound of soft, dusty purring.
They plan to inherit the everlasting forest once the acorn drops, and the world is rid of all giants. They believe that only the arboreal will, and should, survive. The shield's bravery is admirable, if a touch stupid. The Knights of Dre are a dangerous, dangerous order. Lunatics with a single-minded devotion to bringing about the end of the world. Together, Quercus, we can develop some magic to save us from the great acorn, if our shield can keep us alive. Yes, it has done an admirable job so far. It certainly lasted longer than I thought it would. But does it understand that we could be wiped out at any moment? Does it understand the risk? It's an idiot, Quercus. Still, it would be a shame to see any harm come to it. Here's a little something I uncovered in my research.
The squirrel reaches out and touches your ankle, sending a hot flush rippling through your body. Your mind's eye sees new potential spells swirling before it.
Now, listen carefully, Shield. The plan is thus. Do not die. If the shield can hold up its end of the bargain, we might just have a chance to complete our research. We might make it yet, Quercus.
Just when I think this land holds no more surprises, I find myself in some place even more dismal than the last. Still, at least this is an interesting variation on dismal. How many times must I tell you? I have business in the Black Pits. We should head to the excavation site there.
The only treasure worth digging for. Knowledge. I was investigating a site where several artifacts of my people have been found. Some were even intact. Alas, I was not the only one there. Those red-robed idiots were scurrying about too, trampling precious clues under their ignorant boots. They caught me when I failed to correctly respond to their questions, and dragged me here. Still, it's good to be on the move again. They simply asked me what I was doing there, and I simply told them to be gone from my lands. I may have used the phrase pathetic mortals. Come to think of it, I may have used it several times.
Speak. Didn't you hear, Melody? We're off to find the Meistr and the Master. As such, my first priority remains to find Roost. He is the pawn that will eventually topple the king. Ha! A tale of cloaks and daggers and daredevilry. You up for it? Wonderful.
She bows with thespian flair.
Imagine a black room. It's been your room for years. You know it by touch more than sight, for it's always dark. And when I say always dark, I mean always dark. You're either in the room or in the box, for it's in the box that you travel. You're only let out at night, because you only hunt in the night, with the Master's voice in your ears urging you on. And after it's done, you lie down in the box once more, with wet hands and mad red thoughts. Sometimes it's best to let sleeping questions lie. The thing is, the box didn't break me, though I confess it taught me to hate. One night, I killed a scholar. With my needle through his fragile old skull, he fell headfirst upon his writing desk, blood mingling with spilt ink. It's when I saw the ink that timid thoughts of rebellion first bloomed. Back in my dark room, I dipped my needle that killed the scholar in his own ink. and engraved his name in my skin. I'd remember him. I'd honor him with vengeance. His name was the first, but many more followed. Of course.
She bares her left arm and shows you the name. You softly run your finger across it.
Mindarin. He was Turashar, a keeper of stories. I'm sure he was loved by many. People like him, the beloved dead. They kept me going. Then, one day, it happened. A gush of wind. A sliver of light. Light! I hardly knew it for what it was. A simple oversight that comes with habit. A door, left slightly ajar. That was all I needed to feel a rush of blood, a thirst for liberation like never before. I tore at the shackles that kept me chained to the floor, iron thick as a smith's wrists. Of course they wouldn't budge, they never did before. But now that I saw the light, something welled up inside me, a raw and undeniable burst of power. The shackles broke, and next thing I knew, I was free. I stood alone outside the ruins of a fortress, snow-capped peaks all around me. But the sun, oh, the sun. I had risen as if from the grave, and she kissed me back to life. Ain't over yet, honey. I was given my needle by the Master. Guess I'm just sentimental like that. Fine, if it means that much to you.
She draws her needle and holds it up between thumb and index finger.
Go on. Ever so gently touch the tip.
Barely have you touched the needle's pinpoint surface when a thick droplet of blood wells up from your fingertip.
Sharp little minx, isn't she? Sabine, this needle was forged in an altogether different world. It wasn't wrought upon a crude anvil, hammered into shape with rough blows. No, it was cast with demon precision. It is absolutely priceless. And it's yours. The Master's own words. And he was right. As an instrument of assassination, it's absolutely priceless. But one day soon, he'll find out just how much he overspent on his gifts for little old me. Just why this needle is a girl's best friend. One might say I'm a bit of a sucker for poetic justice.
Yes. We should seek the Meistr. Anyone with such a fine, authoritative title should surely aid us on our journey.
In the meantime, though, let us continue our search for Bramos. He knows things. Things I must know.
He sighs, rather dramatically.
Oh, perhaps that's because I don't quite enjoy broaching the subject. If I must. The long and short of it is that I was banished because I was found in bed with a demon. How gratifying to know I amuse you. You clearly have a hard time understanding all this, so let me paint you a picture. I am a prince of the House of War. There are others with that title, but none of them are the Red Prince, the jewel in the crown of the Empire. I lived in the Forbidden City, a vast complex of palaces that houses the royal family and its servants. No others are allowed to enter it. As for myself, I was never allowed out. That is the price I paid for my genius. I was too valuable to be exposed to the dangers of the outside world. All the wars I won, and I won them all, of course, I won from the comfort of sofas. Bring me information and I will deduct, then instruct. From amid the ultimate opulence of my quarters, I expanded and very much ruled the Empire. I had it all. And frankly, I got bored. Exactly. I did not suffer the boredom of some spoiled brat. Mine was the absolute absence of challenge, the longing not simply to watch the horizon, but to journey towards it. If I could not experience the joys of the world beyond, I had to bring the world to me. Miraculous what a sorcerer can do with a little arcane lore. I summoned demons, the most dangerous game in the world. But they knew they met their match in me, and so we conversed. We drank wine, we played chess. Converse with demons and you learn of the shadows behind creation. Drink wine with them and you have visions of worlds beyond worlds. play chess, and you know that one wrong move is certain death. My mind rejoiced. Now for the body, I reasoned, so with a certain succubus I spent nights that would surpass your understanding. So you do comprehend. I spent a whole year in the company of demons, every night atop the white library tower of my palace. It was my great study of existence. It was my supreme joy, even if... Yes, even if it led to my downfall. What happened next was simply unforeseen. One moonless night, the succubus that was my lover turned to me, fangs exposed. But I could tell from the glint in her eyes she wasn't bent on our usual fang play. There was no light in that glint. It was the darkness of the void, the wet darkness of spilt blood. And in short, I was afraid. I tried to move away, but it was too late. She was upon me. She had done it. She had outmaneuvered the Red Prince. Finally, I was vanquished. How witty. Perhaps if I had a moustache to twirl, but... No, you can rest assured I'm quite unique. Of course, that... No. But never mind that now. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. The succubus. She went for my neck, quick as a charging cobra, but then suddenly it's as if time ground to a halt. Something deep inside me welled up, a power I never knew I had. She simply froze under my stare. Then she screamed. A scream so abhorrent its ripples caused birds to fall dead from the sky. People covered their ears in vain as they went insane. The Imperial Guard forced itself into my chambers and found me with the succubus still on top of me.
I believe the phrase is caught red-handed.
At first, I admit it was all rather tiring. I was, after all, marched out of my own empire, and I've been hounded by the odd assassin ever since. After that came the indignity of the collar and incarceration. But ever since we decided to be so bold as to bid our farewell to Fort Joy by any means, it's all been rather fun.
Oh, I could complain about the food and the lodgings and the sheer barbarity of the common folk. But in truth, all of that fits within the larger frame that is adventure.
Adventure is precisely what my life was missing. I told you earlier I could tell you tales about what it was like to be a prince of the house. Tales that would last us 1,000 nights. That is true. But I'd much rather speak of the tale we are shaping now. Dear gods, no. Pray kill me before I reach such an idea.
What's up, Chief? Well, I think I should focus on getting this demon out of my head. And of course, I think you should help me. And if we pick up a few new source tricks along the way, so be it. What's up, Chief? What, this old gaggle of weirdos? Oh, she's all right. A lot of bark, but I think she really cares about what we're doing. Better that than a sweetheart who'd sooner watch you walk off a cliff than shout, "Look out!" I don't know about home, but I do sort of miss the gang I travel with now and then. Crawler, Madcap, Papa Joris for sure. Musicians mostly. We all had our own stories, our own troubles, but when we were together and the music was with us, it was like none of that mattered at all. When you have people like that around you, you know, a family, even rain feels like sunshine.
Well now, how's my favorite god woken? Let's track down my old pack and find out who's behind the contracts to kill Godwoken. Can't hurt to know who wants us dead.
Ifan smirks and shakes his head.
I'll spare you the tall tales we usually tell. When a new cub joins up with the lone wolves, we interrogate them. Then, a very complex equation decides their new moniker. I don't remember all the questions, but I remember enough to give you a lone wolf name if you want one. So tell me this, which of these scenes attracts you the most?
Ifan nods and raises his eyebrows, a slight smile brightening his face.
And then, target in sight? What's your preferred execution method? Right.
Ifan scrawls something on a little piece of paper and hands it to you. On the page, in thick black letters, is written Bright Fang.
Not as pant-wettingly fearsome as Silverclaw, but not bad. Not bad at all.
Ifan smiles and salutes at you.
Not much of a landlubber, but sometimes I get no choice in the matter. Besides, there's business to take care of. Malady said this Meistr lady's the key, so we follow her lead.
Beast pauses for a moment to consider whether he's forgotten anything important.
I'd also appreciate it if we dealt with this Lohar fella. He's the key to unlocking this mess Justinia's made. So, there's some things you ought to know about me. I'm sort of... kinda royalty. I mean, I never wore a crown. Not with diamonds in it, anyway. I once stuck a wreath on my head and... Oh, sorry. I need to stop with that whole tangent thing. Anywho, let's just get it out there. I'm a bastard. The literal kind. And the other kind. The royals weren't all great with me, and I weren't too great with them. To make an overlong story over short, I started the rebellion and got caught and exiled to an island prison. Like Fort Joy, but 10 times worse. I would have died there too, if one of Justinia's ships hadn't sailed so close. So, I kinda took it, and off I went. Cool, right? And then I came upon the Victory. Nice ship. The royal sailors walked the plank as well as you could hope for. And that's where I found the notes. Right there in the open. Next to the manifest. I'm no pirate. I just play the part. I prefer revolutionary. Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it. Now let's see how quick I can tell you the rest. Queen Justinia's ordered some dwarf named Lohar to ambush a ship called the Peacemaker and take its cargo. Whatever's on it, she's using it against the rebels. She calls it Operation Downfall. Pretty ominous, eh? So, yeah, hoping to find this Lohar fellow and stop the Operation Downfall thing. And there you have it. Tangent-free. Mostly. Well, not mostly. A little. Okay, not at all. I don't know. I've never been one for worshipping. I always figured if Duna really existed, he'd show himself. I mean, am I really supposed to ask some invisible dwarf in the sky to grant world peace? Or give me a pony? Yeah, it sounded like a waste of time to me. But, then he showed himself. He said he could help me free our people if I helped him. And I left with more questions than when I started.
Hello again. That's twice now you've saved my skin. And I think it's time to start repaying the favours. I could fetch some stuff you need, maybe. Ma always said I was a great runner. Sure thing. I'll start hunting that down right away. Don't wait up.
Hail, friend, and remember, in Lucian's love there can be no wrong. Paradise awaits, my friend. Not an actual paradise, of course. I don't think there's such a place in all of Rivellon. Paradise Downs. My parents still sow the soil there. And if the Order hadn't called me to its ranks, I'd still call their farm my home. I miss it. I miss them. They've been forever understanding of my duty. But I admit, I've been neglectful. I have some wrongs to right. I expect Malady has an answer to that. It seems she's got it all in hand. Only as often as I need his guidance, Godwoken. When I invoke Lucian's words, I invoke his deeds too. He stood for the defenseless when the Black Ring rose up. For all of us. For my mother, my father.
Gareth's nostalgia lasts for just a moment longer. He composes himself, clears his throat, and waits for your next question.
coast lies nearby. When you are ready to sail elsewhere, I shall bring you there. The wood of the sacred ancestor trees has long been coveted for its ability to resist magical attacks. The consciousness of the elf within was always lost when they were uprooted, though. I am different. I think and feel. It is the work of freedmen. Dallas wanted more than a ship. She wanted a warrior slave who was bound to obey. So Friedemann used source magic to keep me alive as I was torn apart and rebuilt. He made me feel every moment of agony, then marked my wood with a slave scar. When I was an ancestor tree, the mother tree demanded loyalty also, but at least I was one of many. Now I am alone.
I hadn't realized I was in such illustrious company when we met before. Most fascinating, the things I've been hearing about you. That you're, how did Malady put it again? A god-woken. Yes, that's it. Quite remarkable if it's true.
Tarquin pauses, taking you in. Genial smile and calculating eyes.
Most people are too sentimental to admit that friendship is a transaction. I am not. I'm sure we can both be of use to each other. Marvelous. Great things abound in our future, I'm sure. Why, it was your ally, Malady, who spared me. She claimed that I might be of some use yet. Rather flattering to enjoy the favor of such a powerful being.
That doesn't sound promising, does it?
Makes my bones itch.
Come on.
The little boy lobs a stone across the river. It makes a long arc before plunging into the water below.
Oh, Ma! Are you all right? Ma!
A screech like metal dragging on stone grinds from across the river.
You have to help her, please. You can't see her. She's in the house, and those things are all around. Void things. There was a fight. Some dwarves attacked some magisters, and there were sorcerers too. And then the bugs came. Those void things. They killed everyone. And my mom got them to chase her. And she went across the bridge. And then she raised the bridge and she told me to run. And now she's stuck over there with them. Not without Ma. Family doesn't just leave each other. You will. Maybe you can cross the river then. Ma lifted the bridge, but there's got to be another way, right? Yeah. You'll make one, and I'll...
His gaze shoots to the ground. He grabs a small flat pebble and chucks it across the river. Again, it lands in the water below, well before reaching the other side of the cliffs.
I'll keep distracting him. All right, but if I can help, I will.
He performs a divine order salute.
Now go out, Ma! Oh!
And who are you? Oh, never mind, no time. Hurry on in and gear up. There's a void woken right out the front door. Barin? He's still out there? Damn it, I told him to go back into town. We gotta do this fast. Let's get those bugs out of here. You in? By the 7, that's what I'm talking about. I got all the fixings here for every kind of bomb, grenade, missile and shell you can imagine. Make what you want and then let's go! I got a boy to get back to.
Rubbish.
Ready, set, squash!
mine. Glory is mine.
There you are, my good-looking lad. Let me get a good look at you. You're okay?
Of course I am, Ma. Are you?
Fit as a fiddle. And twice the size.
And
how's my little spider monkey doing? Safe and sound?
Spider monkey? You mean dragon?
Come here, you.
Mother and son fall into a tight embrace. One tear rolls down Mari's nose, falls on the black stubble on Barin's head. She strokes the wet drop away, smiling. Mari seems oblivious to you. Her eyes are closed, her lips turned in a serene smile as she strokes Barin's head.
My boy, my good boy.
Hey, wait, one sec. Ma, look. Ma, this is my friend. Friend, this is Ma. Ma made it back. See? She's here. Thank the gods.
Thank the gods. Oh, thank the mum. And our friend here too. I know a good arm when I see one. I'll tell my cousin Ryman what you did. He's real high up in the Order, and he's visiting Driftwood as we speak. Could be he has some good work for you. Don't I know? They're a jumpy lot these days. Voidwoken have got all us sleeping with our weapons in hand. Can't fault them for wanting to protect us. Ryman's a good sort. You'll see.
I don't like him. He's mean.
Oh, from the mouth of babes. Well, you don't have to be nice to be a good sort. You'll see. I'll tell him what you did here. He'll be grateful. Some dwarves, locals, attacked a Meistr caravan. Must have been sorcerers inside. Voidwoken must have sensed them. Came in formation like a proper battalion. Never seen anything like it. No match for the bomber pair at the Bridgeside Cottage. Right, Baron?
As rain.
We're off into town. Best of luck to you, mate. And come say hi if you make your way inside.
White as driftwood salt, the dwarf flinches at your approach, yet she holds a short, clean blade aloft. Her fierce stance can't hide the trembling of her fingers.
Back! Get back! I'll kill you, just like the rest of them.
Shh, lass. I know you're all afraid. In times like these, I don't blame you. But I ain't out to hurt you. Now, why don't you take a few breaths and tell me what happened?
She slumps, all bravado draining from her.
No. I've never seen anything like those beasts before. Are they gone?
Voidwoken, you mean? Poor thing. No wonder you were scared. I'd be scared too.
Those? Yes. Worst ones I've ever seen. Ripped through the Meistrs. The dwarves. Dead. And the sorcerers. Gone.
Her eyes stare vacantly into the distance, glassy as marbles. It's not cold, yet her shivering is relentless.
I don't know. Oh, Duna's beard. Lohar. My boss, Lohar, will want to know what happened to them, but I can't remember.
Lohar, eh? Where will I find this boss of yours?
Oh, well, you'll find him in Effie's Emporium, neath the Black Bull. He's a fine man. A little gruff, yeah. But he's the only one in Driftwood wanting to help and not hurt.
She looks up at Beast through tear-stained eyes, but you can see her resolve hardening as she remembers who she is and what she stands for.
Oh, Seven Sympathy. I saw those things dragging the sorcerers along the cliffs towards the Wreckers' Caves. Oh, no more. It's gone.
She flinches at the slightest rustle of wind through the long grass. Terror in her eyes, she stumbles away from you. Warm red wine flows down your throat. The languor of a tavern evening soothes you. Suddenly, shrieks rend the night. The Meistrs have come. Warm red blood flows down your face. Collared by Meistrs in the far north, you are forced marched to this foreign land. A moment of hope as a grinning dwarf removes your source collar. Seconds later, void-woken death. You stride past the chained sorcerers and climb onto the caravan without complaint. As you settle onto the bench, you offer Ralik's blessings to the Magister Guard. He offers only a bleary-eyed stare of disinterest in return before shoving the chained sorcerers aboard. As you watch them cower, you cannot help but feel annoyance. After all, don't they know they're going to be saved? Eloisa was the prettiest girl, not to others, but to you. Her luminous eyes shone brighter than the moon. The day you collared her for Fort Joy, you wept every tear you had. You never cried again. You twist your head around as the Magisters haul you away. Your wife and 2 boys stand in the doorway, helpless. You commit their faces to memory one last time. Wendy cries out something to you. You tell yourself it was, "I love you," or "We'll wait for you." But the truth is, you didn't catch it. The farm recedes from view behind you. From the dark, you stare up at the thin slivers of light visible between the floorboards. Shadows ripple across the slivers, accompanied by heavy footsteps, Magister footsteps. Wood creaks above your head. One of them has paused. Your breath catches in your throat as you wait for him to move along. But the hatch is suddenly yanked open. Light floods you, blinding and accusatory. You hear only one gruffly barked word before the hands seize you. Gotcha! You remember a cold childhood in a no-hope fishing town, bullied mercilessly by a dwarf named Lohar. With no other prospects, you sign up as a Magister, eager for the power denied you all your life. Work, work, work. That's all there was in Driftwood for a dwarf like you. Until you got involved in the anti-Magister resistance. Then, the work was still there, but also purpose. Purpose worth dying for.
Yeah, guess you're right.
You poor dwarf.
A Magister Guard approaches. Behind her, on the gallows, 2 lizards. One in a Magister uniform hangs dead from her neck. The other hangs from her hands, still alive.
Step away from the prisoner, elf! That's internal order business. You'd do well to leave it alone. Let's just say Zeus and there was of help to sorcerers, and leave it at that. She's hanging by her hands because the boss don't want her dead just yet. She's a tough one, Meistr Seaver. She's a seeker, and she's a bloody traitor. She was part of the Order. Knew Alexander personally. Alexander trusted her, at least as far as you can trust a lizard. To repay that trust, the Meistr gave Alexander up to his enemies. She wasn't there when Alexander fell, but White Magister Raymond uncovered the truth. She's as guilty as any of them, and I reckon she got off lightly. You're going to... what, now? She betrayed Alexander. I'd sooner die than free her. I have my orders. The prisoner stays where she is. This isn't the theatre, but... You insult me. Why, I wouldn't do it for an entire bag of gold coins. All right then, done. But be quick about it.
The lizard hangs from the gibbet, her face blooded and her scales discoloured. Her eyes are closed, but her tongue flickers as you approach.
Welcome to Driftwood, God-woken.
One bloody eye cracks open, glittering gold appearing from beneath the swollen lid.
Taste.
Chased you all the way here from Fort Joy, did they? Very well then, cut me down. There is work to be done. Or indeed you could stand there gawping as if you were a cow ordered to dance a reel. It is a masterful performance. I would applaud it, but well.
The Meistr bares her teeth, stained a deep pink by her blood, and growls.
Malady is unfortunately mistaken. I cannot train you, but I can certainly help you on your path. As long as I am free of this rope. Be quick about it. Who knows when that Magister might return? God's teeth, it feels good to move again. Now, best scurry off before that Magister wanders back. Me?
Ah, yes. One of Mari's heroes passes. Come on through, but mind the smell.
You ever think about running off? Like farm...
Ah, yes.
Welcome to Driftwood. The silent monk's stitched lips are the colour of sea ice. The monk has no response to your stick or your scream, unless you count its head's nigh imperceptible rhythmic sway as a response. The silent monk, like every other, has nothing to say.
Last time I was here, I summoned my wolf right in the tavern. All hell broke loose.
The woman in front of you yawns so wide, you can almost see what she had for lunch. Catching your eye across her wares, she rolls both of her own.
Oh, a customer. Welcome to Four Sisters, creators of the all-singing, all-dancing, world-famous Sorceress Sundries. Sooner you tell me what you want to buy, sooner I can get back to doing what I like best. Nothing. So...
She sighs deeply, as irritated as if you just threw a spider into her ale.
Well, I do sell Sorceress Sundries, don't I? It'd be a bit hypocritical for me not to use my own product. You know, if you want to add some razzle-dazzle to your own gear.
She looks you up and down, slowly. It is clear that you are found wanting.
You really should. And praise Lucian for that.
Her face clouds over for a moment.
Though I do hope she's all right. I know the Seekers didn't fare so well, but my sister's always had a way of getting out of scrapes.
She shakes her head, and the concerned look vanishes, replaced with a hard stare.
Anyway, did you buy some of our Sorceress Sundries from her? Indeed. So you'll be wanting more then?
She narrows her eyes right back at you, and folds her arms to boot.
And why would she do a thing like that? Our weak spot. Well, I suppose I can play along. So I'll give you a discount if you can guess my riddle correctly too. How about you do that, and then you can go away, yes? You should know I already regret this. So, see me run, I never walk. I have a mouth, I never talk. I have a bed, I never sleep. I can be shallow, I can be deep. What am I? Wow, you got it right. And what a challenge it was too. I am so impressed. Now, what'll you buy with your discount? Don't hurry back.
Oh, we dwarves had a kingdom, and we will have it back. I won't always be sweeping, I'll be riding horseback. We dwarves had a kingdom, and a proud knight was I. I won't always be sweeping, for my kingdom I'll die. Heavens to Bessie, another one. More queer folk than commoners in Driftwood these days. Just look at you! A sword-slinging stranger if ever I saw one.
I'm surprised those robed fellers aren't attacking you on sight. Anyway, tavern's just down the road. Can't miss it. 'Cause that's where all the queer ones go. Clanking dwarves, dozy lizards. I even saw him drag a void-woken down there in the dead of night. Don't know what's going on in that tavern, but it must be a freak show in there.
Maybe I'm glad I ain't pulling carts of stinking fish round no more. But what's a beast to do if not pull? Well now, wouldn't that be grand? Fresh grass every summer, maize all winter, and... Wait, why are you looking at me like that?
Ifan Ben Meistr is our living braze. I don't know how you got free, but it'll be back to the joy with you, and no mistake.
One eye squints, the other bulges out even further, as if to compensate.
Oh, it's you, all right. It's definitely you. Your little tricks won't work on me, Ben Meistr.
She considers your offer.
How much? So much. You have to be hiding something, and I'm sure Dallas will be well able to find out what that something is. Now, come on. Back into a cage where you belong. Your little tricks won't work on me, Ben Meistr.
The Magister grabs the coin and looks around shiftily, then turns back to you.
Get out of here, and don't let me catch you again.
The Meister's back! The Meister's back! She doesn't feel like playing, but...
The Meistr sits slumped in a chair, looking around the room as she works her shoulder with one hand. It looks like it was dislocated by the gallows.
Damnable red-cloaked baboons ransacking my wardrobes, as if I would keep ancient valuable secrets in a pile with my unmentionables.
She takes a deep breath, and with a twist, a click, and a screech of pain, she shoves her shoulder back into its socket.
I swear by the seven, if we did not have more important matters to attend to.
Reaching across the table, she pulls a bowl of hot water towards her and fishes some bandages, a needle and thread out of a box. She slowly starts to tend to her wounds.
At least the barbarians were unable to club their way into my vault, so everything you need should be safe. In your case, more than I suspect, man, god or even reptile can provide. However, we must soldier on. It is not enough to be god-woken in order to ascend to divinity. There is a process.
As she speaks, the Meistr uncorks a vial of shimmering liquid, sauce. She lets a couple of drops fall on her hand, but instead of infusing with her body, they quickly evaporate on her scales. She stares at the empty spot on her palm for a long moment before turning back to you, continuing as if nothing had happened.
A process by which god-woken may ascend. It begins with discovering your deepest self, delving into your own soul. We shall begin once we have the tools we need from my vault. You may have been chosen god-woken, but becoming divine requires more than a supernatural pat on the head. Come, god-woken. It is time to see just how awake you are. Fortunately, the Magisters pay as much attention to art as they do to fashion. Kindly remove that painting from the wall. I pray my instructions will not be too technical for you. push the button. Your talent for following simple instructions fills me with wonder and pride. Now, kindly go to the vault and enter the combination. I shall call it out as you go.
A stone door lies flush with the floorboards. Etched whorls in the granite frame a delicate rotary dial. Gleaming under the dim light, the metallic dial almost seems to wink at you. Taking your time, you carefully enter the combination. The metallic sounds of the tumblers falling within the mechanism let you know you entered the code correctly.
Excellent. Follow me. Your time is at hand, Godwoken. Feel free to look about when I catch my breath. Come speak to me when you wish to proceed. And try not to break anything in the meantime.
Ancient runes, weird contraptions. This place is an arcanist's dream.
The Meistr is examining her wounds, prodding at this, wincing at that. Her face seems grim as she turns to you.
Do you know what it means to have the power of the divine, Godwoken? Just so. To accept divinity is to accept responsibility for the lives of every person and beast that walks Rivellon. If granted divinity, you would have the power of all 7 gods at your disposal. You could heal any wound, pull islands from the sea, right any injustice. But make no mistake, the divine has only one duty: to protect this world from the void. The divine cannot use her power for anything else. When you become the divine, there is no more self.
For just a moment, her eyes soften as she looks at you.
It is no small thing to ask, but it is your duty. Without a new divine, Rivellon will die. Very well, then. Let's see if we can't snatch divinity from the jaws of the void. The ritual itself is quite simple. Drop some blackroot in the bowl, mix in a little blood, set the concoction aflame, and then inhale the smoke. Ignore any feelings of dizziness, burning in your lungs, or a dire sense of existential dread. They're all perfectly normal, although you will need to sacrifice a little sauce along the way. Everything you need is here. Ingredients in the cupboard, sauce in the glowing fountain, ritual in the tome by the bookcase, even an incinerator to provide a flame.
The Meistr looks back at her wounds, curiously prodding them as fresh blood oozes out, staining her claws.
Quite. Mind you, being torn asunder by a Voidwoken would be even more inconvenient.
The Meistr points sharply to the ingredients cupboard.
Once, although not by a Godwoken. My assistant did not believe that one had to be chosen by a god to become divine.
She waves a bandaged hand absent-mindedly, wincing slightly.
A headstrong and thoughtless girl, but the experience was... was quite educational. From observing her, I gather that the ritual involves inhaling the smoke, a lot of screaming, and a rather sudden death. And putting our faith in you is a risk Rivellon must take. If you need more detailed information about the ritual, see the tome on a plinth by the bookcase. But be quick about it. We do not have much time.
Opening the door, you see a selection of ingredients. After a quick rummage, you spot the blackroot, nestled between the grated dragon's tongue and druidine oil. You gather up the blackroot, obsidian lance, and ancient bowl, and kick the door of the cupboard closed.
Are you simple? As you suck the smoke deep into your lungs, your vision starts to swim and cloud. There is an intense pounding in your head, and you can feel the world fading. As the world fades away, you lose all sense of being grounded. You reach out, but you could feel yourself falling slowly, sinking into the depths of your own soul.
Deepest recess of my soul. But it looks like the Hall of Echoes.
Bathed in the half-light of these starless barrens, you spot a figure you could only describe as a second self. It looks haggard and weak, its very voice but a feeble echo of your own.
My chosen! Come closer, so that you may see me as I truly am. Look me in the eyes.
The apparition clasps your face in its shaking hands. You suddenly feel your eyes tingle. Everything becomes brighter, sharper. Blacks and whites become glorious bursts of color, then fade back into their accustomed spectrum.
Blind eyes, shine brightly. Speak the spell and see.
Gone is the strange mirror image of yourself. Before you stands the god Tir-Sendelius in all his spectral glory.
You know me, don't you? I saved you from drowning. I blessed you, made you powerful, and now I've come to seek some power in return. Your god-woken soul is my last refuge, my last bastion. May as well make the best of what you have to offer.
Tir-Sendelius nourishes himself from the source that abounds in your presence. You feel it deep down inside yourself.
Ah, yes. Just what I needed. I tell you, dying just doesn't become a god. Immortality is only permanent, my dear. Until one day, it simply ceases to be. The void itself is hunting down the gods, leeching us in ways we never thought possible. Droplet by droplet, we are being drained. We're battling for our very survival. It's a battle we're losing, and should we truly lose, all will be cast into oblivion. Well, sort of. But by all means, let that be a motivator, not a cause for concern. You must realize that our fates are now as one, just as our souls are now as one. We are I. Together we are a force to be reckoned with. But if we seek to survive the onslaught of the Void, we stand no chance unless we become vastly more powerful than we are now. That means there is but one place we can go. the Well of Ascension. It most certainly will be. The Well of Ascension is a lake, a pool of pure source in which the powers of the Seven lie united. We gave them up freely to create the first divine. Each of us donated half of that which makes us gods. To bathe in the lake is to become our chosen. That is where the road to divinity leads, and you must be the first to reach it at all costs. It was a time of selflessness and sacrifice in the face of our old enemy. It was an act of heroism and a dreadful mistake to boot, which we must rectify. The Void is stronger than ever. A new divine won't be enough. You need to go to the Well of Ascension, not to bathe in the source of the Seven, but to take it. All of it. Only she who claims everything will be everything. The Void's doom, this world's liberator. It's very simple, really. They will either bow to you, or be undone. But of course that is what they are saying to their own God-woken as we speak. We both know they won't bow, just like we both know you will never bow to them. Only one can become a god strong enough to safeguard our world. One, at the expense of all others. So make no mistake, my champion. Chances are, the road to divinity will be paved with dead gods. Their blood on your murderous hands. But don't let that dismay you, for these sins will be washed clean by the knowledge you committed them to save all of existence. To save your kin, and your loved ones, and the world they live in. They will be at your mercy, which is vastly preferable to you being at theirs. Wouldn't you agree? So fret not, but revel in the promise of the lake. I will lead you there when you are ready, when you've become a true master of the Source, and speak the language of creation itself. Our journey will be fraught with peril. It is a pilgrimage of challenges that will require you to command Source like only a God-woken can, and wield its most powerful spells.
Hoarse laughter rolls and echoes into infinity.
Perhaps. But what is a pilgrimage after all, if not a journey of atonement, in search of enlightenment? Focus not on death and irony, my chosen. On life and ascension instead. We are I now. The spells you need to know I will teach you when you are ready. But first, you must learn to channel the Source in greater volumes. That is why you need to seek masters of the Source. You must make them teach you, so that you may become a master in turn. So return to Rivellon and seek out these sages where they dwell. Convince them to share with you their deep-seated bond with the Source. Once you have, you may return to me here. Something that will make you understand that for a god, there is precious little difference between the living and the dead. Source is. It is a constant, a subject of neither time nor transience. All of life is Source, and in Source it is, immortally so. You have the vision of a god now. Eyes that can see spirits, the souls of the dead made manifest in Source. Speak the spell during your peregrinations and you will see them. Where the dead lie, the dead linger. And so much more. But I'm no longer who I once was, bound to you as I've become. I will teach you what I can, but the knowledge that will expand the bounds of your soul, that you'll have to hunt for yourself. Best of luck, my champion.
A man's spirit stands before you, clad in scholarly dress. When your eyes meet, he staggers back, terrified.
Sweet Armadia, why do you test your chronicler so, haunting me with spirits? Am I cursed? Has the goddess turned her back on me?
The chronicler shudders, looking sick to his stomach.
Again. This again. I sleep, then I wake, and another piece of the world is gone. The Empress. It was her. It was that armor. I died for it, and now I'm trapped here. I died. Oh, Amadia, why can't I escape? Why is there never a way out? Me? I archived Rivellon's history. I used ink to immortalize greatness on the page. A lizard empress sought my services. She needed an ancient design restored from a damaged text. She told me the design was brilliant. When the armor was forged, the empress showed it to me, and she trapped me inside. Consumed me. If it wasn't for me, the armor wouldn't exist at all. This is my fault. If I knew the way, I'd shout until every god heard me. But I have no idea. I simply want this to end.
The chronicler puts his head in his hands, collapsing in silent defeat. The Meistr stares intently at you. Her eyes are tired and bruised, but determined.
Still alive? Gods above, there might be something to you after all.
She leans in, her bloody tongue flickering hungrily about your face.
Tell me, what did you see? What you know?
She sighs impatiently as you hack up the last of the green smoke.
You can't channel enough sauce? Gods be damned, why couldn't you have a nice simple problem? Finding an orc to dance the hornpipe, perhaps? I know exactly what must be done. You must find a master of sauce. And I could have helped you once, but no longer. The purging which the Magisters included as part of their service was quite efficient. They stripped me of my sauce.
Not enough to silence me, but enough that I would not turn their insides to lime. Enough to sever my link to the font from which all source flows, and certainly enough that I cannot train you.
So we must seek alternatives. Alas, the only source masters not yet hauled off to Fort Joy or turned into meat puppets are those too dangerous or cunning for the Magisters to contain. Sorcerers that allowed their power to corrupt them. Many are wicked, cruel, vile, and generally not good teacher material, but we may have no others to turn to. Were the circumstances any different, I would indeed agree. However, it is the path we walk, no matter what the cost. No matter what is asked of you.
The Meistr doubles over in a violent coughing fit, struggling for breath. After a few moments, she regains her composure, wiping a thin smear of blood from the corner of her mouth.
No matter what is asked of you, you must learn from them. And you do not seem to be paying attention. Sorcerers, evil, controlling your source, saving Rivellon, please. Please tell me at least some of this rings a bell. Your focus, your only focus, must be on finding these masters, on finding the secrets to divinity. Nothing else matters. Alas, I am. And we do not have time to nitpick morals. The Magisters have kept ledgers with all known sorcerers, especially the powerful ones not yet captured. They would be an invaluable resource, but do be careful not to get caught. I was their guest for a time. And I promise you the gallows was the most comfortable part of the experience.
And if their barracks turns out to be as empty as their skulls, just try to keep an ear to the ground. There may still be powerful sorcerers hiding in these lands.
As she speaks, one of her wounds reopens, a dark red stain spreading across her tunic. She hisses in frustration and starts to bind the gash.
I wish there was more I could do, but in this condition, I would be more a hindrance than a boon. Godspeed, and remember, do whatever it takes.
Quercus, what are you looking at? Egad, stop gawking at the shield. You ought to be quite used to such journeys into that stone realm by now. Meanwhile, the acorn draws nearer. I read through some tomes I saw that cranky old lizard carrying. Some fascinating leads, but nothing like the power we need to stop the Knights of Dre and their wicked plot. Our gargantuan friend is easily impressed. Wait until it learns that I'm a knight, a scholar, and a wizard capable of saving the world. No, of course it knows that already, Quercus. Yes, I'm aware it's the entire basis of our partnership.
No, I most certainly do not feel the need to return the compliment. I owe our shield my life several times over. I hardly need to grovel and thank it each time. I'm sure it knows I appreciate it. Now, if you're quite finished ogling your favorite long-legged scratching post, we need to get on and save the world already.
Just when I think this land holds still. At least this is an interesting...
Well now, how's my favorite god woken?
His eyes glitter as he stands tall to tell the story, hands waving expressively. You can see it's a story he's used to telling, one he enjoys weaving for an audience.
So, underneath the tavern in Driftwood, there's a place I feel right at home. A delightful little hive of scum and villainy. A few months back, I was relaxing down there after a job. Just a hint of Driftwood, you know. A hint. All of a sudden, a tiger prowls in. I jump up, but everyone else is just ignoring it. And then he picks up my scent. His eyes turn blue, and he leaps to pounce on me. A fury of claws and teeth. I flip the table and start scrambling for my crossbow. Nowhere to be found, and by now, the tiger's right on top of my eyeballs. So I do the only thing I can think of. I summon Afrit, my soul wolf, and now everybody reacts. Screaming, scrambling around, pelting for the stairs, drinks flying everywhere. And that pesky tiger? Nowhere to be seen. Turns out it was Driftwood messing with me. Stronger stuff than I'm used to. Also turns out some people don't appreciate spectral wolves tearing up the place. So some people called magisters on me. Well, it's guarded by a grouchy-seeming dwarf named of Papa Thrash, but he's a real sweetheart once you get to know him. I love that password of his. Open minds and closed fists. I'm from the deserts of Meistr originally. My parents died when I was very young, no more than a cub. They were spice merchants, killed by bandits as we were trading on the forest roads. The elves nearby saved me afterwards. They found me hiding in a wagon and they took me in.
Ifan bites his lip, hard enough to draw blood.
They were my home until I was old enough to join the Order. Mother Melody always said I'd have a hard life. She saw it as fact, since I was born under the waxing moon. Ah, a mysterious one. Cool and analytical. I've been striving my whole life to prove mine wrong. To, zero success. So far. For sure. Always carry a snack.
Ifan reaches into his tunic pocket and pulls out a strip of dried raw meat. He takes a tiny bite and offers the rest to you.
Now, what else do I have to share?
Ifan rummages around the roll-down tops of his boots and grins in victory as he plucks a single mushroom from the folds.
Aha.
He hands you the mushroom with great ceremony, bowing as he holds it aloft.
Oh, I wouldn't. This one's not for eating, but I'll tell you, it comes in handy if you're dining with someone who really needs to lose their life, and soon.
Ifan smiles and looks around before reaching high into his sleeve and pulling out a tiny herbal wrap. The unmistakable scent of Driftwood hits you as he holds it out to you.
The last weapon in the lone wolf arsenal. You know, for after the toughest jobs.
He winks and tips his fingers to his temples before loping off.
Come on, let's keep moving.
The spirit of an elegant elven woman materializes before you. She seems surprised.
You can see me. A god woken in my presence. You honor me.
The spirit looks at you regretfully.
It is hard to hear of such power and not covet it for yourself. I lie to myself and convince myself that I am special. But I am not special. I am dead.
The Meistr sits slumped.
What news? Can you channel enough source? Are you powerful enough to proceed? Of course, my supply has rather gone up in... You can find more in the cloister woods to the northwest of Drift. Then why...
The shimmering ghost of a lizard magister turns her gaze upon you. She holds your stare, boring into your mind, searching the blacks of your eyes for the secrets of your soul. But in so doing, she shows you hers. You are Zeushan, a young lizard magister, devoted to the Order. More than this, you are in love with a comrade, a human man of wit and kindness and sweet disposition, who goes by the name of Boris. You are Zeushan once more. Alexander dies. Worse, your human comrades look at you askance, as if his murder was your fault. Even Boris turns against you. When he's posted to Fort Joy, he does not say goodbye. Your heart is broken. Posted to the graveyard shift in the dark of night on the outskirts of town, you do your duty diligently. But your heart is no longer in it. So when you catch a couple of young sorcerers fleeing Raymond's net, you see how deeply in love they are. You do not turn them in, you help them to escape. But in the morning, they are caught and under torture give you up. They go to Fort Joy. You are hanged right here. Doubled over in agony, the shivering Magister spirit mumbles to himself, tightly clutching 3 golden stalks in one fist. Noting the attention, he straightens, revealing insignia spelling Kinnet, and a jagged wound spilling his innards upon the ground. He reaches a ghostly hand into your chest and squeezes your heart. You become Kinnet, his memories flooding over you and replacing your own. Warmth, comfort. You are Kinnet, playing cards with your mates in a cozy barracks. You stagger to tipsy attention as a white-clad magister commands that one of your troop seek a lost caravan. It's a one-man job, a job no man wants. Your sly-eyed troop leader holds out straws to you and the others. Who will investigate? You feel the short straw and hear them shout, "Kinnet!" You know what that means. A lonely traipse in the cold dark. You dawdle and grumble all the way, sobering as you find the overturned caravan. Massacre. Your lantern reveals ravaged corpses in every direction. Inhaling sharply, you smell a thick black stench you remember secondhand from the few void-woken corpses your troops have found. As you approach a dark thicket, the stench grows stronger. In a flash of void and blood, a claw rakes savage stripes across your guts. As Kinnet dies, all goes black. Staggering back from Kinnet's deathly grasp, only your own blood now pumps through your heart. With your living eyes, you see him trembling in front of you, desperately holding out 3 straws. As you pluck the short straw from his hands, Kinnet weeps with relief. His wound disappears in turn, and he's restored to the model image of a strapping young soldier. He looks around, then looks at you, and then he smiles. Smiling broadly, Kinnet fades away.
I'll show you.
The spirits of a magister and a dwarf are locked in ethereal combat. Their vicious blows make no impact, yet they struggle on. Mid-snarl, the dwarf spies your presence and staggers back to address you.
Sorcerer! You must hate the Reds as much as I do, eh? Rightly so. Reds had sorcerers locked up tight in that caravan. And you know where they were sending them. You look like you've been there yourself.
The magister lunges for the dwarf, his exasperation clear.
Anna, you saw it with your own eyes. You know sorcerer's law, Voidwoken, and you know we'd all still be alive if you hadn't attacked our caravan. Before it all, Voidwoken stole the sorcerers along the cliffs, headed for Seven knows where.
Not to flip your flops or nothing, but 'tis more that my boss Lohar is against magisters than for sorcerers, if you know what I mean.
The magister snorts in disdain.
Lohar, I should have known. Sorcerer, if you want to stay alive around these parts, you'll stay far, far away from that walking vermin. Though, on the other hand, maybe you should go stand near him. Maybe the Voidwoken could take him out where we failed. Ha!
The dwarf eyes you steadily and silently, his mouth a straight line, and his eyes like marbles of steel. The Magister shrugs.
Well, if I knew that, we'd have taken him out long ago. All I can say is, he's somewhere in Driftwood, and everything he touches turns into annihilation.
History will remember you read...
The bull lazily chews non-existent card. It registers your presence.
Well, guess I should have seen that coming. Yep, sure do. Or did, leastways. All bulls can see the future. I'm surprised you don't know that. That's nice of you. Not so bad so far. Sure don't miss pulling wagons. You sure you want to know? Alright. Here is your future.
The bull shakes itself, swallows the card, clears its throat.
You're gonna die. Let me think about that now, too. Yeah. Okay. Right, here we go. So, maybe.
The bull shrugs.
Here. I don't suppose you could do me a favour. Unhitch this here harness so as I can make my way to the Field of Echoes.
The bull nods its thanks and gently fades away.
I knew you'd say yes.
The spirit floats in front of you, his eyes unfocused and darting from side to side. Looking down at his mangled corpse at your feet, you see that the front is relatively unmarked, but his back has been eviscerated. Long, jagged cuts run the length of his torso. The spirit's eyes move in your direction, trying to focus, but he seems to look right through you.
A voice. Oh, I can still hear it in the dark. I can hear it whispering. He won't stop. His voice was everywhere. It danced with the screams. Insects with a dwarf's tongue. They came from above. They laughed as they cut us down.
The spirit doubles up, raking his hands across his face, ghostly nails cutting deep into spectral skin.
No, I can hear it. Not the echoes. I can hear it. The voice. It's here.
The spirit shudders and cries, tears running down his cheeks.
Oh, Divine Lucian, protect me. You seven ancient gods, please. Don't let it get me.
The spirit's eyes dart left and right. It reaches tentatively a hand out for a moment, but thinks better of it and turns away. A dying shark lies gasping on the sand, bleeding from the mouth and gills. It turns its dark and soulless eyes to you. Its bloody gills open in search of water, but find only air. It gasps in the air, struggling for the breath to speak. Its own blood froths at its mouth.
No! Die here! Monsters in the water! Monsters in the deep! Monsters bigger! More and more growing!
It looks at you with its cold, flat eyes as if to say, do what you will. Then it turns away and gets back to drowning in the bloody sunshine. A boy at swim. Your name is Joe. You're 9. You're brave. You're off to see your mum. A shadow moves below you. A jagged vice closes on your thigh and pulls you down. Water fills your lungs. Blood billows.
Now I swim. Monsters gone. Swim. Free. Swim. Forever. It died. Eaten. By a monster in the deep. I see. I was his monster in the deep. We all have our monsters. Thank you. Now...